I want to talk to you about vulnerability because it's such a buzzword, but it isn't all shiny happy. Vulnerability makes you, vulnerable. And we know that in some context, vulnerability is used by people who are seeking power to dominate or control or even abuse with tragic results. So we need to talk about the boundaries of healthy vulnerability. Here's 3 things it isn't. Number 1, healthy vulnerability isn't about feeling you need to be weak or fearful or struggle with your self-confidence or self-esteem. The days when women in particular had to be slightly weak and fearful and need the protection or oversight of men, those days are gone. It's okay for you to be confident and capable and know what God is calling you to. If that makes other people feel threatened, that's their issue, not yours. Secondly, healthy vulnerability isn't about the kind of submission that leads to you feeling controlled or manipulated. If someone is using your vulnerability or their power to speak something over you that isn't true or fair, or maybe they are trying to get you to reveal things about yourself that puts them in that position of power, that isn't right or healthy. Thirdly, and most importantly, therefore, healthy vulnerability isn't universal. We're called to be as innocent as doves, but also as shrewd as serpents. You should not be vulnerable with everybody who asks you to be. Think about Jesus' example. He had 12 friends who he spent a lot of time with, but in the really intense, emotional, vulnerable moments, he took just 3 people with him, Peter, James, and John. And in perhaps his toughest moment in Gethsemane, even they were asked to stay a distance away while he shared his most vulnerable inner self with the Lord alone. That's good psychology as well as theology. You know, the psychology of relationships suggests that we all have an inner circle of maybe 4 or 5 people who have proven we can really trust them. That may well be people in your family and perhaps 1 or 2 really good mates at most. If we try to share beyond that true vulnerability risks us then feeling anxious and exposed. And then we withdraw and isolate and keep things hidden when we do need to share them somewhere. So be intentional. Well-placed, deliberate vulnerability is a good thing. So think, who are your inner circle? What does that mean should be the boundary with other people? Are there people asking questions you shouldn't answer? And what does it look like for you to open your truly vulnerable self with the Lord? That one space where you know there will be no condemnation, just grace and love and compassion. Remember, vulnerability is a choice, not a command. Be intentional, and it's okay sometimes not to share.